So much yarn, so little time.
Big spindle yarn.
Quite the ripping yarn.
Shall we start with the yarn?
No headphones today. All right, we're back. I don't know what episode this is. I think it's 7 or 8. I don't know. Either way, we got Dane in the hot seat today, and we're going headphoneless. I'm just going to get comfortable and just keep that mic, like a fist away
sweet.
from your face, bro.
Hopefully that's all good. Something.
That'll be sweet.
Yeah.
All right, fresh off the boat from Japan.
Pretty much. Yeah. Well, maybe about 3 weeks, I think, back now.
Look at that.
3 weeks.
Goes quick, doesn't it? What's, yeah, how was that? I was watching your video updates like every day.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, I'm jealous.
Yeah. It was an interesting season, and it's sort of like I'm kind of a little bit past the time of being a tourist there now. Like when the tourists rock up, in a season like it's just been, and they're there for 2 weeks, they're like, oh man, this is so epic, it's beautiful, like there's so much snow in town, rah 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 rah, and it's true, it's rad. And then when you speak to your neighbours and other people that live there and all that kind of stuff, and they're like, I'm so over it, I've been shoveling snow for 3 weeks straight. My neighbour's roof is roof launching onto my driveway, so I'll shovel snow, and then 10 minutes later, it's all full again, and day after day after day, and it was hectic. It was a hectic season this year. Like there was just so much snow at low altitudes. There was like there's always enough snow on the hills, and there's usually knee deep, waist deep snow in town maybe, but it was like, dude, there was over 2.5 meters on the roof.
It's a bit of a different vibe down south there, eh? Like you have big mountains, whereas in Hokkaido, which is the only place that I know over there, it's at your doorstep. So
They're kind of used to deeper snow up there.
Don't have the elevation with the big mountains, and obviously, heaps of snow. Whereas down south, I feel like the mountains are bigger. You don't quite get as much in the village.
I don't know what the elevations are up in the village of places up north. I think like down south it's only like 700 or 800 meters in the village. That's still high,
Well, even Mount Annapurri in Niseko there, I think the top of that's only 1,200 meters or something. They're not big mountains. There's just shit tons of snow.
Yeah.
So you've basically done what a lot of people who have ridden or holidayed in Japan dream of, and that's buy a house over there.
Yeah, I guess I was just lucky enough to get in early.
When did you buy it?
Oh, 15 maybe? 16.
2016.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's not long ago, and then you're like, it's almost 10 years.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I'd already been going there for a few seasons, and made a bunch of mates that had some of them been going there for like over 20 years, so they're pushing 30, 40 years of riding in Japan. They were picking up houses left, right and centre, and then I was like, oh, these are like the price of a car.
I saw one the other day. I sent it to the missus, actually. I think it was in Miyoko or somewhere around that area, and it was 87,000 New Zealand.
Yeah.
For a mean little like house, and it was in the mountains.
Yeah.
Like it showed it in winter, covered in snow.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that's the dream. Like,
Yeah.
So anybody who's ridden in Japan or lived there, I've only lived in Hokkaido, but you see that like the property, it's different to New Zealand, where New Zealand's obviously the whole property Ponzi in itself. Where over there, it's just so cheap. You're like, man,
yeah.
What's the costs? Something I've always been curious, like seeing all your little videos and stuff over winter. Like obviously, if you buy a house there, like what are the costs involved with like maintaining it? Taxes and shit.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Like most of the cheap houses are old and they need renovation and all that kind of stuff. Like my house, like there was water coming in to the house, and through the roof. Like it was going to be if someone didn't take care of it, it was going to get a Japanese renovation, which is just bulldozer. Yeah. So yeah, I sort of spent a year renovating it with a bunch of mates, and it was epic time.
Good time to be a builder, eh?
Yeah, it was super fun.
Is it expensive though, like to own it, having it sitting over there?
No,
and
it's not like New Zealand. Like rates aren't crazy high, and insurance isn't crazy high, and all that sort of stuff. So it's it's reasonable like that. But then, yeah, your older houses, you're still going to have maintenance. Like I'm looking at my place now. I'm like, oh man, I'm going to have to fork out some cash again soon to keep it up. Yeah.
And what's the daily routine over there? Just snowboard.
Yeah, pretty much, eh?
You don't do any work when you're over there in winter?
Like the first couple of years I was just a tourist over there. And then I lost my job just before Christmas one year. And good mate was, he's been going there for 20 plus years.
Job here or job there?
Job here. A full-time job, and I said, oh bro, I'm over it, I'm coming to Japan for the season, like if you know anyone with accommodation for the season or hear of any jobs going, like I'll be there next week sort of thing. And he went to a ramen shop that night. It was a new shop in town, and he spoke to them and he said, oh, they're all Japanese. He's like, oh yeah, I've got a friend coming from New Zealand, he's looking for a job and a place to live and blah blah blah, and they didn't really understand what was going on, but they were just Japanese and polite.
What year was this, you reckon?
Oh, it would have been like 13, maybe 12, 13. I rocked up the following week, and they're like, oh okay, yeah, you are here, okay, well, you can do a trial for a couple of nights. And so I did a trial with them for like a week or something. And then they quickly realised, oh, this guy is going to be good, because I spoke just enough Japanese to get by then. And 99% of their customers were already Westerners. Yeah. So it just made life super easy for them. And then, that was me for the next 6 years.
So you didn't come back?
I came back, there? Yeah, I came back. But then every year I'd just be straight back to the ramen shop, doing ramen, living upstairs, living with the Japanese family, speaking Japanese every day. And yeah, the first year their daughter, she turned one in February that year, and they had there's like a ceremony that they do with the young kids, when they're one. It's like they do this rice scattering and all these other different things, but you get the family on her side and the family on his side all come together, and they have this meal and do all the ceremony and everything. And then they had this lovely family photo at the end of it, and they're all quite not traditional Japanese clothing, but I don't know, just sort of nice, dressed up, and they wanted me to be in the family photo as well. Sure. So you've got like mum and dad and the little baby, and then his family, her family, and then on the side there's this white dude with a goggle tan and a purple and pink hoodie.
Random Kiwi fella in there.
But yeah, that's but then I was at every birthday she's had. Like, I think I missed the ones through COVID. So yeah, she's
became part of the family basically.
Yeah. Rad, so I think she's like nearly 12 now.
Shit.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Quick. Yeah, I still keep in touch with them. And
dude, the Japanese people are like mind-blowingly nice.
Yeah.
Like when when we first moved off, so I think the last year we did there was 2016. But when we first went there and like took that plunge, like we're going to do winters, and we over there and we travelled through Japan, mind blown by how nice people are, and how like if you're places like here in Wanaka, the locals, it's a whole town that runs off tourism, so it's a bit different. The locals look at tourists a certain way. Over there, I found they look at you as a tourist and they're like, let's help them, or let's
that's it. Like you get lost somewhere and you can pretty much approach anyone and say, oh, I'm trying to find this hotel, and they'll basically stop what they're doing and they'll walk you to the hotel.
We had one in
just crazy.
Where were we? Sendai, I think it was Sendai. traveling up through Japan. We did it all by bus, the first time on our way to Hokkaido for winter. And we had one in Sendai where we rolled up, and we didn't have, phones are a bit different then or whatever, but I was just downloading the maps. Like if I found Wi-Fi, I'd download like the map for where we were staying the next day at the next city, and I forgot to do it.
Yeah.
So we rolled up, jumped off the bus in Sendai, and I was like, shit, I have no idea where we're going. Had no map, nothing. And we're standing in the city, me and Nikki, and we're like, got our suitcases, and we're like looking at the map, trying to figure out, no idea. Like we're just full lost, bro. And this little old traffic control Japanese fella with the white gloves, he comes like marching over, couldn't speak a word of English, and he's like, doing the bowing and trying to figure out what was going on, and like I didn't speak any Japanese then, so because we were super fresh, and did exactly that. Oh, I showed him. He said, follow, and he walked us through like a back alley thing with all these shops and stuff, and he was stopping traffic. And we're walking along behind him with our suitcases, bro. And he's like got his whistle, and he's stopping cars so we can walk through. Yeah. And all the locals are looking at us like, who are these people? Like, what the hell's going on? And we were like, this is weird. And no shit, he walked for like 2 Ks.
Yeah, it was interesting. Trippy. I think the further back you go, probably it's, those sorts of experiences were more and more common. Mm-hmm. I do have concerns going forward, like, there's so much tourism there. It's really, I don't know if you've seen the graphs and things, but it's been about 5 million visitors a year, which is pretty low, and it's looking like this year's going to like surpass 40 million. It's a huge increase, and the graph is just whoomp, like that, like Japan's is on everyone's bucket list now. So yeah, I hope that, and they, in Japan, like, the locals are well aware of it. It's like they call it over tourism.
Yeah. Well, we know about that here, don't we?
Yeah. So it's. I hope that those sorts of experiences still exist for people.
Well, that's it. The tables might turn if there's too much tourism.
That's
the locals might be like, no, actually, fuck these
Yeah.
people.
Like something I think you put up the other day. That how locals look at tourists in a tourism town. They're like, oh, another tourist.
Yeah, exactly. Like here.
It's not like that in Japan, but like
that's what I mean. It was the opposite.
In another
experience.
few years, it'd be nice if it doesn't do that, if they manage to control it.
Yeah, like you say, over tourismize a place enough, the people who live there are going to be like, yeah, actually, fuck these people. Like, we've had enough of you now. Whereas we had the opposite experience in Japan. Like, we just, we were like mind boggled by how nice everyone was.
Yeah, but
and
then
how intrigued they were by you.
That's it. I think there's the hot spots as well, everyone knows of. Like, you go and visit those, but, when you go to some smaller places, then you're like, oh, wow, now we're in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we travelled through, I think it was the Niigata prefecture or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
West coast.
Yeah.
Complete opposite. There's not a single bit of English anywhere. No one speaks English.
Yeah, that's like Joetsu.
And when we went over there,
one of the main towns there.
Yeah, we booked a bus ticket, and the little guy, because they're always keen to speak English if they can.
Yeah.
They want to practice.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, English, da da da, and he was like, why you go there? And he goes, oh, for the rice. And we were like, I guess so, bro. Yeah, no idea. Yeah. Like, we didn't know what was there. We were just traveling.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing there. So they're like, why would you go there? But it was the coolest place because we were fully immersed. We were only there for a few days, but we saw one other like Westerner in that city or that area the whole time.
Yeah, you can totally still get places like that.
Yeah.
You just got to go different spots.
And we'd come from wherever we came from through Tokyo, which is, there's English, there's people speak English, and then you go just over there, complete opposite.
Yeah.
But everyone was still super nice. It was still like a great experience. But I don't know. Like you say, living that dream, see those houses and stuff, and I'm like, I could easily go over there for a couple of months each year and just snowboard every day because, man, I miss it. Yeah, Not so much, like I wouldn't go back up to like Niseko area because that's changed a lot in the last since
everywhere's changed. I haven't been there that long, 14, 15 years or something, but like it's changed heaps in that time. Yeah.
Everything grows.
Yeah, I remember like rocking around to March and I'd be like the only Westerner in town. And now it's like April, May, and it's like actually, there's plenty of Westerners around.
If you mix like cheap, I guess like cheap property with, like you say, epic scenery and snow and
it's
like Japan when it comes to snow
Yeah,
quality.
it's an international ski destination that like is just starting to blow up. You know, like every other international ski destination blew up 20 years ago, but Japan's sort of just been.
I feel like it was
Just
sort of
been
like
discovered somewhat recently by the masses.
was sort of a hidden secret. You go back to all the old like snowboard films from like, you know, when we were young.
People have totally been going there.
Yeah, they've been going there, but it was never like a thing.
No.
And then as time progressed, first segment in every bloody film
Technology's
is Japan.
Technology's changed lots of that, you know. Like now people can go with Google Translate, you know,
true.
and it's just like life's super easy. You can, you know, go into a Japanese restaurant where there's no English menu, and you can hold your phone up and it translates all the kanji. You know, a lot of people read hiragana and katakana, but there's not many people that can read kanji.
Can you read any of it?
like a handful of symbols. Kanji is like insane.
After a couple of years there, or however long we were there, I got to the point where I could speak enough to sort of get by. You know, like I could order stuff, or I could have a really broken conversation.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's all gone now. It was 10 years ago.
That's the one thing that I'd love to stay there for longer than I do, because every time I go, you get to that certain level where basically the last like 2 or 3 weeks, I'm like, oh, this is good. Like I'm really progressing, and then
come back to NZ,
back
and
to
it all just
NZ,
disappears.
back to NZ, and
Yeah, I couldn't remember any of it. I'm keen to go back. Like I've been sort of threatening it for the last couple of northern winters to do a trip, but I just haven't. You know, it's just time and effort, and I don't know. I need to make the effort because I do miss it. Just even for the snowboarding, you know, like I don't know. You get your powder fix there in like a
you
week.
get your powder fix, eh? Yeah. You
Instead
get
of
powder
here
fix.
where we're scratching around for it.
Your knees feel young again. You're not smashing them in New Zealand icy conditions.
Yeah. Yeah, I see some mates who still live over there in Hokkaido and stuff. Actually, one of them's just moved down south, down around where you are. Where's your place?
Just out Hakuba.
No.
Yeah.
How far is that from like Miyoko and stuff?
Miyoko, Nozawa, like that's all Niigata, but it's only an hour and a bit's drive. Yeah.
So is that on that western side or is it on the eastern side?
Yeah, like Madarau's probably further east. It's still west. And then Nozawa, Miyoko, Arai, those big areas. Yeah, they're all pretty close.
Like we travelled through there, but obviously it wasn't in winter. But yeah, I see the proper mountains down there. Whereas like Hokkaido's mean because of the amount of snow, but unless you go up to central Hokkaido where like Furano and that's where some bigger mountains are. But down there it looks like you've actually got like good terrain. Yeah,
it's like they're just bordering on 3,000 meters. Those peaks down there. Yeah, they're all like 2.9. You know, I don't think there might be one which is a bit more remote that's just over 3. But the backcountry's getting busy and all that sort of stuff there too. Yeah, but there's still it's epic adventures there.
I feel like Hokkaido probably gets more snow, but it's way more mellow terrain.
I've only been up to Hokkaido a couple of times, and it is like the big resorts and stuff are, but I'd like to go to Furano and Rizitsu and see what they're like because people do yarn heaps about that and better terrain. But there's epic places up there, you know, and like I've seen ski fields that like it finishes like the base of the ski area down by the road. Like you literally walk across the road and you're on the beach. You know, snow on the beach, like it's because it's
like Otaru and stuff.
Around Otaru.
Yeah, I've been all around there.
It's like it's just snow to sea level. You know, it's crazy. Yeah.
The coolest thing about Rizitsu is snowboarding down through the theme park.
The theme park, yeah.
I got a photo of Nicky standing in front of the Ferris wheel.
Haven't been there, yeah.
And it was just absolutely puking, and that was just the novelty. There's some cool terrain there, but it's not like NZ mountains. It's pretty mellow.
NZ like over there, it's about the powder, you know. Really, it's about the powder. It's about the culture and all that sort of stuff. And New Zealand mountains, it's about adventure.
Yeah.
And it's about people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best thing I did in Japan was went heli skiing.
Really? In Japan?
Yeah. On what's the mountain called? So you got Mount Annapurna where Niseko is, then you've got Yote.
Yeah.
Then there's another little mountain
Okay.
It's a volcano as well.
Right.
And I think it's old mate Backcountry Club, whatever it's called.
The cat ski operation?
They do cat skiing, they do all sorts of shit, but they run a heli operation as well.
Yeah.
And when we lived over there for work at the end of the season, they shouted us. We all got to go. And
There's not many heli skis operations in Japan.
There was one spot in particular on this volcano, and it was fucking, I don't know how steep it was. And just like the best snow ever. And some of the people that were on it with us, because they were just all random employees, they weren't like, some of them weren't good skiers or snowboarders, they were just like intermediate. And they were like sketch. They were like, this is too, like, 'cause you had to sort of like traverse over this like icy little roll down into it. And the guides were like frothing on it, and then they could tell there was a handful of us that were like, fuck yeah, this is what we want.
Yeah.
And then there was a handful that was sketched out, and dude, I think I've got a video somewhere. You know, when it's so steep and just blower, you're literally just like big turns, and you're pretty much just laying on the snow. And in the video, you can see I'm just like dragging my hand, just doing. It's just like, I still think about that run to this day, just dropping
good,
in.
Yeah.
And it was just like a big open face, steep, and just the best snow you could ever. It was like one of those runs that just sticks in your head. And I can't remember. I think I let them go first because I ended up having to help people at the bottom. But the top section, like, because it's like the whole mountain. I don't know how much vert it is, but dude, I was just like this, and it was like a bluebird day as well, which is rare up there. And it was fucking epic. I miss it so much. But
it's funny, it's just like as soon as you get in that terrain, that moment, and you're just like, oh man, this is just like, it's insane, isn't it?
Powder
it's
heaven.
The dream. Yeah,
Japan is definitely
the dream. Yeah. But you can still get the good days here, man, and when you get the good days in New Zealand, it's pretty special. Yeah,
I've had some pretty mean blower off the top of TC there, off the peak. There's been a few days where I'm like, oh, this is up there. It only lasts for about an hour. It's more special in New Zealand because it's a little bit, it's a little bit more rare. To be fair, the biggest thing you take away from living in Japan, or I did, was becoming a full-blown snow snob. Like, I got to the point living up in Niseko there where we had this handrail on the lodge on the place we lived in, which was a lodge. It was about that wide, and that was sort of our gauge as to how much snow had fallen overnight, because it snows every day. Like you said, you get sick of it because it was my job to clear it. It was like every single day, just like, fuck, it's just relentless. Unless there was like more than 10 centimeters on that rail. I'm like, what's the point in going up? Like, if that was in New Zealand, you got a 10 centimeter day. It's like
all time.
Powder panic central.
Yeah.
Like that day, remember that day we went up Cardi's? It was like, there wasn't even much snow, and there was queues down the the street all the way up.
Yep.
It was over there. I'm like, I wouldn't even bother. Like, that's what it does to you. But then, and then we moved back to New Zealand. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's, I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. You have to forget about it and be like, nah, it's about, like in New Zealand, it's about the people and it's about the adventure.
You
go out there, you might get some good turns if you're lucky, but you'll still have fun,
Yeah, bro, it's definitely a different scene. I don't know, like, I miss it so much, but then, like you say, what it does conditions you sometimes in a bad way because the snow's so good.
But you still get the Japanese that come to New Zealand as well, and they come for multiple seasons. Yeah. Different.
Like I said, they're not, like, they're probably not coming for the powder because they get that so much.
Yeah, that's it. They're coming for the big open mountains. Like they don't have like they're used to, gladed tree runs and tree runs.
Mellow terrain, but good snow.
Yeah. And we've got like these big, steep, exposed mountains,
with shit snow on it.
Yeah. Which,
not shit.
With variable conditions that, tend to make the average New Zealand snowboarder a slightly better snowboarder.
True. Yeah, it definitely conditions you, I remember when I first ate shit big time over in Japan, like first season there. Season starts, when it's early in the season, there's still all the little, like, whatever those plants are that stick up out of the snow.
Just the little bamboo shoots.
You're riding through those, rode in through this real deep spot and just like whatever I did, tomahawk somehow, and I'm like, this is like landing in pillows. Like this is legit. This ain't like the icy base shit that we have. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I miss it so much. I can't wait to go back one day, even if it is just for a holiday. Come down south or something. I've got a few people I know that live down there now, so I just need to make the effort, do it, I suppose. But yeah, so you started a snowboard brand.
Started a snowboard brand, yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm wondering why we're wearing this and got the board in the back.
Yeah, probably like a 2 a.m. decision.
What year are we at now?
Today?
How many years have you been doing it?
This will be just the 3rd year, really. So yeah, she's pretty young, you know.
In its infancy.
What's
the story with that? I mean, you've told me before, but how did you get to that point? From like, with the name and what you were doing and everything.
Yeah, so I guess it really came about through COVID.
Old COVID.
Old COVID, eh? Changed it for everyone, yeah. But yeah, I had a business in Methven before that, and COVID would have been the 3rd year of operation, and it was actually looking like pretty good, you know. For most businesses, like your first year is no profit, you know. 2nd year maybe, 3rd year you might break even, sort of thing.
Yeah. The 5-year rule.
That's how it goes. True. Yeah, but anyway, so it was going to be 3rd year, and I was doing transport and tours to all the clubbies up there.
And that was called Powder Hunter, wasn't it?
Powder Hunter Snow Shuttles, yeah. And dude, it was epic. Like, I was just going snowboarding every day. I was, you know, picking up people from Christchurch Airport that, you know, flying to New Zealand. They were like super hyped and excited to go to all these like exotic, you know, clubbies and things like that. And yeah, you ride variable conditions, you get blow power, you get sheet ice, you get it all. But it was super fun. It was like, yeah, everyone, you know, all good people. You know, just sometimes it was just the bread and butter run up to Hut. You know, drop people up at Hut, ride for a few hours.
You played tour guide?
A little bit tour guide. Sometimes I was just shuttle driver, you know. It depends what was going on. Like
Depends what the vibe was.
Yeah, you know, like if it's a family or something, I might show them, and they've never been there, you know, show them a lap or two and then be like, cool, do you guys need, and they're like, sweet, set 4 o'clock, boom, go catch up with some mates and go riding. Yeah, you're not making much money, but dude, it was fun, super fun. And then, yeah, I had, actually had Japanese, just completely random, had no connection with me from Japan at all. Japanese lady who was operating tours to New Zealand from Japan. She said, oh, look, I've got this group that want to come and we want to do like a full tour of all the clubbies and blah, blah, blah. So, awesome, let's do it. So then went around all the clubbies, and then she came back the following year, and we came from Canterbury, we came down here, we went to like Fox Peak and Dobbo and Ohau, and we went to Awakino.
Jeez, that's...
Yeah, that was a good mission, you know, and like she was just like, they were like, what is this place? And we got to Awakino, you know, most of those clubbies, they're like, what is this place, you know? Is this a ski field?
Just when you lay your eyes on a rope toe, like...
Yeah, but, you know, like, and those passionate skiers from anywhere that find out about those places, like, it's almost like a pilgrimage, you know, a ski pilgrimage to go to the...
To
go to the New Zealand clubbies is pretty damn unique. Yeah, so I was doing that every day. It was awesome. And then, boom, COVID, can't work, can't do anything. Getting phone calls, can't do it. And then I had a bunch of other stuff going on, so I couldn't even be in Canterbury at the time because down this way, like, tourism had stopped and people were leaving town, and it was you know, it was...
Did you grow up in Canterbury?
No, it was North Island, yeah.
Whereabouts?
So like the top of, like just south of the Bombay Hills, so top of the Waikato, bottom of Auckland.
Oh, it's good to know. You're a North Islander
yeah,
like me.
Yeah.
I mean, not anymore. Main Islanders now, but...
Yeah, then I came down to the South Island when I was 16, went to Polytech over in Greymouth, did that outdoor course, you know. And,
Rainbow Town.
Rainbow Town, Greymouth.
Years ago, they were gonna rename it Rainbow Town.
Oh,
to make
really?
it sound more like attractive.
Interesting.
Every time someone mentions it, I'm like,
Yeah, right.
good old
There's
rainbow
a fact I
town.
didn't know. Yeah, so then that's when I saw mountains, and I think I might have been snowboarding like once or twice with a few mates from high school before that, but like my family, like my family was like, I remember we went to the snow once when I was a kid, and we had gumboots and rubbish bags and slid down the snow.
That was standard.
It wasn't like
Standard
I was
North Island snow.
It wasn't like I was from a family that was going skiing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So then COVID hit.
But then COVID hit, and that stopped, and there's a couple of years, there's like a year or so of like no operation. Then the second year was kind of the same, and it's like, what am I going to do here? And I need to do something that's not going to be affected by tourism so much. And I also want to do something that keeps me in the mountains. You know, I don't want to be working down in town and looking up at the mountains and being like, oh man, I wish I was up there today. You know, I want to have a reason to go up there and have an excuse to go up there. That kind of stuff. I'd had jobs like years before, like in Methven and Canterbury and stuff, and I'd just be like, yeah, I'm pulling sick days to go up the hill and all that kind of stuff all the time. So I kind of knew I need that. I need to be on the hill.
Have a connection to
and
it.
Yeah, and I love it. I want to be up there. So I was like, oh, what's the go? Like, what sort of snowboard brands are there in New Zealand? And it's like, you know, there's not really anything. Not really anything of any sort of quality that's saying, hey, we're a New Zealand company, we're a New Zealand snowboard brand, we're going to be like, you know, a good enough brand to take internationally, sort of thing. I was like, damn it, just do that.
Just fucking have a
Just
crack.
do it. Just do it. Have a crack at it. See what happens, man. Like, the worst case scenario, you'll have fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's why as soon as you kick it off, I was like, fuck yeah. Because that's, like you say, there's been a few come and go over the years, like NZ snowboard brands, but for whatever reason,
it's got to be a hard grind. It's definitely a hard grind.
yeah. Like, it's like, oh yeah, you're keen, but then at the same time, it's like, fuck yeah, bro, like, send it. Because this is something that our industry needs, I reckon. For sure. Because as we're seeing more and more, all this big snowboard companies are just getting brought out by all these big investment groups and shit. Yeah. And they just fucking kill the essence of the brands, and they, you know, like, you know what the snowboard industry is like. And I've always been support local. I'm pretty patriotic Kiwi.
Yeah.
Like, see people like you having a crack. It's like, fuck yes. Like, that's
it's interesting. It's like it's super cool. It's good that there's yourself, and there's like a bunch of Kiwis that are like that send me messages and stuff and say, oh man, this is great, like I'm stoked to be on board, and you know, it's cool to have a New Zealand brand, and you know, but then the tourism part of it, you know, which I kind of didn't totally think about when I was starting, they come to New Zealand and they're oh, this brand is like a unique New Zealand brand.
Yeah, got the New
cool.
Zealand
I'll take one of these back home because
souvenir.
It's a souvenir. But they're like, also when I'm standing in the lift line and everybody's on this, you know, like an American board or a European board or whatever, nobody's on one of these. No. And people are like, oh, where's that from?
Unique.
You know? Or at the bar, you know, when everyone's got their boards like stacked up outside, it's like there's pretty much, because it's such a small brand, they're going to be the only person at their resort that's got a powder hunter snowboard from New Zealand. Yeah. And like a lot of Americans probably don't even realise there's snow in New Zealand.
Well,
you know, passionate skiers 100% will, but you know, there's going to be lots of people. I guess the perception of New Zealand for a lot of the world is it's a tropical country. You know,
they think of the North Island, the far north.
Different
environment.
It's still here. We are still, you know, a tiny little island in the South Pacific, and coming here on a ski holiday is coming to an exotic place to go skiing. You know, for us it's home and it's normal, but you know, for the rest of the world it is a unique experience. And they're like, oh, that's cool, I'll take that home as a souvenir. So that's it's a market that I, you know, didn't realise was probably as potential and as big as it is.
Oh, the potential is huge. Like you say, it's navigating the industry as a whole. But like, it's pretty evident that you're not shy of doing the work, seeing you do all the demo days and getting them in front of people. And
Yeah. Well,
I think it's just
fun,
weird,
you know, it's fun. It's like you go and talk to people who are passionate about the same thing as you are.
Exactly.
It's awesome.
There's a bit of a weird thing I've noticed in the snow world, and that's what we were just talking about, where there's like all these long-standing brands that have been brought out by these big corporations. And like I've used so many different boards over the years and different products, and like I say, there's like a life cycle of these, most of them, like you say, American brands or internationals, and they start up and they get brought out by a big corporate who then is all about profit, so they cut fucking costs and cut quality. And it's like I see people that will like support that shit because they, for whatever reason, they're loyal to a brand that's got nothing to do with their country or them.
Yeah.
And it's just some big corporate giant taking their money.
Yeah.
But then they'll be reluctant to support like a local thing. And I'm like,
yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
Fucking backwards is this? Like,
they'll be on
so
support
weird.
of that, and you know, like you try sending them, like try sending one of those companies a message on Instagram, for example, and will you even get a response? You know,
Exactly.
or will you get a response from the person that owns the business?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
That's exactly it.
within an hour of sending that message, you've got a response like, "Wow, this is," you know, and you're saying, "Oh, I'm at such and such a ski field," and blah blah blah. Like, oh yeah, sweet. I know. Have you talked to these guys? Because I know them up there, and I mean, New Zealand is so small, and
I know who I'd rather deal with.
it's yeah.
The small local guy, like
Yeah.
you say, that's the one that you're going to get the, you know, whether it's customer service or whatever. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's it. Like, you're not going to meet anybody from any big snowboard brands doing demo days.
No.
You know, you might meet some reps, but even most snowboard companies don't do demo days. You know, I rock up with the fleet of boards,
Old school. I like it.
and people come up and they're like, "Oh, this is great. We only ever see skis do demo days." You know, so
That's where
the snowboarders are pretty stoked on
that
on
grind
being able
comes
to,
in.
Yeah,
You're
being able
out
to
there.
ride something different and unique. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously I rode that one last season, and I dude, very impressed. How does the process
it's
go?
A super cool board, yeah. I do enjoy that.
That's one thing I was curious to ask you. How did you go from like, okay, I'm going to start a snowboard brand. Fucking, what happens next?
Yeah,
like, what do you?
yeah.
How do you find like manufacturing, design?
That's
all
it,
that
eh?
shit?
Then it was like, found some free software, you know, and it was pretty simple to use because I'm pretty simple anyway. So I figured out how to do that and make some basic shapes and bits and pieces. And then it was, you know, contact a bunch of people that can do some manufacturing. And they're like, "How many thousand boards do you want?"
Yeah.
So that went nowhere. And then I finally,
And you were like, fuck.
yeah. Found a company that could do like a run of 10 boards, you know.
Yeah.
And then when I got that email and was like, I can do 10 boards, I can afford 10 boards. That's like max, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was like, oh, well, looks like this thing's actually gonna happen. I'm actually gonna make some boards, you know. It was cool.
So that was the moment where you were like,
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
like,
we're
oh,
on.
yeah, it's going to happen, you know. So it was sort of mucking around shapes and bits and pieces, and then I was like, oh, I can do this.
oh, yeah.
So that was cool. I don't know how many companies I must have emailed. Like there would have been, I don't know, 100 more. I did send out heaps of emails to as many places as I could find, and then one responded. Yeah.
That moment, that's that difference between an idea and executing and actually bringing it to fruition. Eh?
Yeah,
'Cause a lot of
yeah,
people
yeah.
have the idea, get something like, you know, a manufacturer saying, oh yeah, we can do it, but you have to invest, you know, have to buy this many, and that's when it dead in the water.
Yeah.
Whereas that moment of like, yeah, we can make 10, and you're like, that's doable.
Yeah, I mean, in those first 10, it's like, yeah, it's kind of cool because I know what they like, and I know that, you know, I can see one. And I know, oh, sweet, that's one of the originals, you know. I guess things is, even in that short time, like, stuff's progressed from there, you know.
How does it go on the manufacturing side, though? Like, I assume you you design the boards, you say, this is what I want.
Yep.
Is there like a sample thing? Like, how do you go
There's a
about
bit
doing
of
all
back
that?
and forth with the design and stuff like that. They're like, oh, this isn't going to work, you know, this will be better, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, they definitely help with that, you know. So I get the basics, and then they'll do a bit of critiquing with what they, because they're punching out thousands of boards.
At the end of the day, they're the
different
manufacturers, so they know.
companies and stuff. Yeah. So it's pretty awesome to have that support too from them. And you kind of just have to trust in it, like I don't have the cash to be like, oh, send me this design, and then I'll try which one I like. It's I kind of have to be like, oh, jump right in, and we're going to go with this. And
is that risk we were talking about earlier?
Yeah. But they all, like, everything rides differently, and you kind of have to accept that, like some boards are going to be good for you and some boards aren't. It doesn't matter what you're riding, like what brand you're riding, or, if you could buy a $10,000 board, it might not be a good board for you. You might be better on a $500 board anyway. It might feel better. There's all sorts of things going on. So
and that's all relevant to your experience.
You got to have a variety. As a brand, I'm like, you've got to have a variety of shapes and variety of styles. Yeah,
I feel like you've probably seen that with this being more of an all mountain type, do everything board.
Yeah, it's way more popular, and it's and there's certain things that people that larger percentage of people like. Percentage of people like softer boards. There's a smaller percentage of people that like a real stiff, aggressive board. There's all sorts of things like that.
I feel like as a whole, the snowboard industry, the actual majority of people that spend money on gear are intermediate.
Yeah,
they're in that middle area.
Yeah,
people who have been doing it their whole lives and are at that higher end, like they're usually the ones that want the stiffer, aggressive board and all the, But there's the main market for actually selling product and making money. Is in that middle.
Yeah, is that middle
between
range.
Beginner and someone who's been in the game their whole life. That whether they're a weekend warrior or they do a winter trip once a year, because they're the ones that'll go out and be like, this is what I need, buy all the gear.
Yeah, you get the early the beginners who are renting or getting secondhand equipment, all that, and then once they progress, and then you're more advanced rider that's traveling, going on holiday every couple of years to a different location, wants to have a quiver of boards. It's the higher,
like you say, like the people that have been doing it for a while are the ones who have had the time to dial in what they like to ride. And the ones who generally have a board for each occasion. Whereas the average person just wants the all-mounted board.
They do. Or they'll come and try boards, and you're like, oh, so what board are you on now? Cool. How long have you been riding that? Oh, 7 years. 7 years on the same board. Like, dude, you're going to have to try lots of boards because you've been riding the same BMX for the last 7 years, and now you're getting on, a full suspension downhill bike. It's going to feel totally weird. You need to try heaps of stuff.
Some of those like swallowtail ones and stuff you do. I feel like those are pretty, the average person probably looks at those and be like, what? Whereas if you've been riding your whole life, you're like,
that's it. It's still, for the average person in New Zealand, that's still pretty weird to look at. So
has that been a lesson though, like offering like the product that suits that more market whole, as a whole?
Like I think so. It's still like that's one of the other things is to try and keep unique shapes. Like that's still a slightly unique shape.
The shape of that is prime. I love it.
It's not quite a generic. It's nowhere near a generic snowboard, but it's it's. And then the other, like the swallowtails and stuff, like those are unique, in Japan, places, even in the States now, they're getting a lot more common. But there's people think deep power for those, but man, groomers on those things, fun, nice crisp groomers,
so fun.
Super fun, but deep power, dream to ride, just like I did. Gave one to someone for a few days, and then they hadn't ridden anything like it before, in POW, and got it back, and I was like, how'd you like it? And they're like, oh, it felt like I was cheating. Like it was so easy to ride. It's like, well, that's why they make them like that.
If they've only ever ridden like an all-mountain.
You're just like leaning back, your back leg's burning, and then you try one of those, and you're like, oh my God, this is a dream. I'm like riding aggressively, standing on my front foot.
I remember riding one of those in Japan for the first time, like a full swallowtail. Like you say, it just takes all that effort out. You just you don't even have to think about it. Whereas, with like an all mountain or whatever or something where you've really got to like that back leg just gets
Yeah. Have you
burning.
tried this one, pal? Not so much.
I think I did a bit of a power day. What was there last year? There was one day where there was a bit of power. And I think at some point I set it back a little bit. I thought I sent you a photo. I can't remember. But that board, dude, like I said.
The extra long setback, like I've been trying that in some deep days, you know, like 50 centimetre days. And it's pretty good, you know. Like it's not a swallowtail, but it still rides pretty damn good.
So was that part of the design thought, obviously?
Totally.
Putting the extra bolts in so you can...
I mean, it's kind of like a quiver killer in a way, which is...
I thought you said that. You're like, this board might be a bad idea because people just want this instead of all the other ones.
That's it. I mean, yeah, like it's still not, you know, if you put that right back and then ride that and ride a swallowtail, the swallowtail's going to ride better. But it's, you know, if you've got one board for everything, it's like, wow, that does a pretty good job.
And that's what I want now. I don't, you know, have that and split board.
Yeah.
You know, I don't.
Yeah.
The big thing for me, obviously, shooting in the snow world and having these heavy bags on my back, which are always 10 kg plus.
Yeah.
Is I just need like stability.
Yep.
Because that's what I find, like, especially when you're bored, when you're working, it becomes like a means of transport. Like when I'm shooting, I'm not up there like ripping turns. I'm just trying to get from A to B.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I found with that. Because they're a little bit wider, right? Yeah. That for me is massive because then it's super stable.
Yeah.
Like you say, if
some of
the conditions I'm going into just like sheet ice, horrible. And that's always been the test for me is like, if a board can perform good for me when I'm working and shooting with my bag on, I can get to the spots comfortably. Because I've had other ones where it's not that, like they just don't hold edges or whatever.
Yeah.
That thing, super stable, good amount of flex, you know. Like, so for that purpose, it's perfect. And then obviously when I get the bag off and I can actually snowboard properly, it's super fun as well. I think when I first got that on me, I was just like, dude, this thing is fuck. Like, you know, boards are good. Like if you've been snowboarding your whole life, if you jump on a board, you know it's a piece of shit or not. And I jumped when I got that one, and I remember because I was so like excited. Obviously, I've had some boards over the years from big companies, like we talked about, that have just been dog shit, bro. And I'm like, why did I buy this? Whether it's the quality or the rideability. Yeah. And I remember when I first rode that, it was last season. And I think I sent you a message just because I was like legit frothing. I was like, this thing is fucking fun. Yeah. And for me, you know, as someone, I don't do all the shit I used to on a snowboard, you know, just cruise now, just be old and sore. But at the end of the day, if a board's like fun to ride, it gives me my, last season for me even, and that played a part. Like the season before that, because I work so much up the mountain shooting, a lot of I think the passion kind of gets sucked out of it for me because I'm like, it's just work. Yeah. Last year, even early season when the conditions were shit, just taking the kids up and just ripping that around the resort, it like almost like re-energized my passion for it. I reckon having a board like that was fun to ride, and I actually enjoyed my time on it. Helped. Because I think before that I was riding a more power surfy board, which again was good for like work stuff, but it wasn't fun. It was kind of just like,
I mix it up so much. I do get on a board and then I'm like, it's quite fun. I ride it for 4 or 5 days in a row or whatever. But yeah, it's good to mix it up and ride different boards and it's good.
I don't know.
Different boards, different conditions and.
Well, that's the thing, and everyone's got a different use for a snowboard. Like I said, mine's a means of transport.
It's actually,
I like to have fun on it. Some people go snowboarding once a year, like you say, so they just want a board that will do the job when they need it, and then they put it back in the cupboard. So many different like variables, in the snow game. That's where I think like ones like that. When you brought that out, I was like, that looks pretty fucking sweet, and it has been sweet. Like I gave that a pretty good thrashing last year, and that's another thing I was going to touch on with like the manufacturing process. I mean, obviously they're fucking built.
Yeah, I mean, like
super
they've obviously been making skis and boards for longer than I've had the company, you know. So they've got a good background of experience, and they've done R&D obviously with all of their construction techniques and their materials. And it's solid. Yeah, like the first big demo tour I did, and I went to all the clubbies. You know, I went to Temple Basin. You know, took the boards all up to Temple Basin. You know, that's no easy feat. You know, anyone that has been there knows that, you know, you got to put a bit of effort in to get to Temple.
Conditions alone in those club fields are like a proving ground for skis and snowboards.
Yeah.
So it's not like Japan where it's like, you know, pillowy, soft snow.
Yeah, that's it. I had like multiple people riding multiple days on all the boards, just randoms coming up, going, yeah, man, sweet, take it, go for a few laps.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're, you know, a beginner or a super advanced rider or quite what. It's like, just everyone have a go. And I think I got one core shot in all of the boards for that whole trip, you know, that whole season. It was like, wow, that's pretty good. It wasn't like a awesome season or anything.
The bases on those are
I was pretty surprised. Yeah, it's real good. Yep.
That's always a test for me, again, because I'm getting into all these shit spots with a heavy bag on. I'm already near on 100 kg plus all my shit.
Yeah.
And I'm
yeah. How much
over.
gear would you have in your bag? Like,
well, if I run my full kit, I think my bag's somewhere between 10 and 15 kg.
Yeah.
And then
it's a bit of weight.
I'm getting into these spots to shoot stuff that are sketch, you know. I don't, when I'm moving into areas, I can't be like, oh, I've got to fucking dodge that. I just got to get there sometimes and hit that over some good shit last season. Fucking spotless.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've had other boards where I've just touched
nothing's like going to be indestructible.
No.
You just got to make sure that stuff's built pretty strong.
That's always been my gauge of quality, though. If it can handle, you know, like I said, like hitting a fucking rock here and there or whatever I might put it through.
Yeah.
Whether I'm riding or shooting, you know, like I said, if I've had other boards, the bases are fucking might as well be made out of butter.
Yeah, there's different thicknesses in base material.
100%. And different styles of boards, pipe boards, alternate, you know, whatever. But still, that's, you know, like from the testing phase, like you said, where you've got the product, you've tested it in our conditions and it's held up. And you've got people who use them like myself being like, these things are fucking legit.
Yeah, it's pretty, like, it's interesting now, like, just a couple of years, you know, and obviously I take the boards to Japan, other people I've seen with boards in Europe, you know, in the States, had boards go to Alaska this year, which was pretty freaking amazing.
That's rare.
So it's great. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
3 years, isn't it? It's amazing what you can do, bro. If you fucking take a, you know, have a crack at something and just, like you say, you've been put in the work, doing demos and getting the product in front of people.
Yeah.
It's like that snowball effect, you know?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So it's just continue on from that. Continue on from that. And then, so the boards this season too, with the new artwork.
I saw that.
That's
rad.
Yeah. It's super cool. I'm really happy with how that's come about. Like I sort of had this idea in my head for what it should be like. And I talked to someone here in Wanaka late last year about it, and they were quite keen, and then they were also starting a job at the same time. So then they came back to me like a week later and said, I'm not going to have time to do this. It's like, all right, no worries. And just stumbled upon, like that same week, some Instagram pictures of line art, and I was like, this is exactly the style that I want. And then I, you know, looked into it and I was like, oh, this girl's in Wanaka. I was like, how good is this? You know? So anyway, I approached her, and I just caught up with her 2 days ago, actually. And she's like, she couldn't believe it when she read my message saying, oh, hey, I'm Dane from Powder Hunter Snowboards, and I've got this idea to, you know, do a graphic for my new range of boards. And she was like, I get to design a graphic for snowboards. It was like a dream project for her. But anyway, we chatted about this design, and I said, you know, I want it to be like pretty uniquely New Zealand, and I want it to have this forest scene with like unique New Zealand plants. I want harakiki in there. I want like the lance woods and the cabbage trees, and, you know, like all the ferns and stuff that is New Zealand, you know. And she's in Wanaka. She totally gets it. She's like fully into the outdoors. So like she's just on the same wavelength straight away. And I was like, I want this view, and then like a river with, you know, tributaries coming in and waterfalls and sort of
Yeah,
how it would look looking up a, you know, a big alpine valley.
Yeah.
And then like we got to have aspiring at the top of the board, you know.
Yeah.
It's you know, like kind of an iconic, you know, thing from
Landmark.
it's the iconic landmark in Wanaka. Sorry, the iconic landmark in Wanaka. And she was like, yeah, that sounds amazing, you know, like. And she sort of worked on it, sent me some ideas, and I was like, yeah, that's rad. Let's chuck this in here, and man, she's awesome. Like fully like made my vision come to life, you know. And now it's coming out on these next 2025 model boards. Looks rad. Looks so sick.
I've seen it. It looks really cool.
I'm super stoked with it. So, and yeah, it does. You know, it does look like it's obviously a New Zealand design. You know, it's like there's mountains on other brands of snowboards.
Yeah.
But there's not Mount Aspiring. There's not Harakiki. There's not cabbage trees. You know, like that's New Zealand.
That's good. Sticking with the Kiwi-ana.
Yeah.
The Kiwi-ana part of the brand.
That's it. You know, like the brand is New Zealand and it's proud to be New Zealand. So
yeah, that's rad, bro.
we've got our unique mountains here and stuff. So yeah, let's, you know.
So the boards for this season are going to have that.
Yeah.
On them?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
When do you think they'll be here?
Like in the next couple of weeks.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Ready for winter.
Yeah. I've got a few pics now, but yeah,
I've seen the ones up on your thing with because it's similar, but it's got that design that runs up the length of the board.
Yep.
Fucking rad, man.
Yeah.
And you think that's something that you'll like every year potentially do something like that, or will you just?
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's cool working with local artists. Like I can draw pictures and stuff, but man, I'm not
that design. That design is perfect. It's
like
rad.
it's rad to be able to have the idea and tell someone about it, and then you know, and they understand it, and then it comes back, and it's like you've done exactly, you know, my dream is alive in that picture.
Brought your vision to life.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
that's rad, bro.
Yeah, that's real cool. But yeah, I've got, you know, ideas for things moving forward and stuff. So
constant growth, that's key.
Yeah, it's constant growth, but it's fun. It's all fun, you know.
It's a fine balance.
Yeah.
Too much,
it's
too
a
quick.
business, you know, and it should make money one day.
5-year rule, the 5-year rule, man.
Yeah. But it's about having fun, eh? It's like it's doing what you love. It's amazing to be able to do that, you know. To have a snowboard company, it still kind of feels a bit funny.
Surreal.
Yeah. I guess there's people that are like, oh, you've got a real snowboard company. I'm like, yeah, I do. It's pretty small.
Yeah. I think the thing is, though, is if you grew up snowboarding like we did, and, you know, reading all the mags and there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of culture in the snowboard industry, and you see all that growing up, and then you get to this point in life where you're like, I've got my own snowboard company. Like, it must be a trip.
Yeah.
So when I seen you do it, I was like, fucking oath. Send it, dude. This is rad.
I don't know. Yeah, you get people, some people love it. Some people are like, oh, what? Like, I guess one thing is people would accept more if I was like a pro snowboarder, you know? Yeah,
but that's because that's a given in the game.
Yeah, that's it. You know, it's like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
You know, like some places around some ski towns in New Zealand, people are like, I've been there for years, and people are like, oh, Dane, what you up to now? You know?
But that's just the New Zealand tall pop shit. Fuck anybody who thinks like that. That is just such a crock of shit. If you don't support people who are having a crack, I am not like that at all. I cannot stand, as you've probably heard me say, the tall poppy shit here.
Yeah.
I'm like, if one of my mates or someone I know, or even just any random, is having a crack at something that's outside of the, you know, the norm, whatever that is, I'll support it 100%. I'm not like that at all. Like, I can't stand that shit. But like you say, it's just ingrained in society. Oh, what are you fucking trying to be a fucking... It's like, no, bro, I'm not trying to be shit. I'm just trying to do something I love. And
trying to do something I love. Trying to give other people like the opportunity to, you know, be like, hey, let's make this a unique thing about New Zealand. We can have our own brand, and we can go overseas, and, you know, maybe one day you'll be standing in a lift line and you'll see someone else who's got a powder hunter board, and you'll be like, oh, what's up, bro? Kiwi, eh? And they're like, oh, no, man, but I went down there last year. Like, I'm from America. I found these boards in New Zealand. Oh, cool. You know, like, you still have something in common.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, remember that you had that thing up in the airport there Taro came over, who owns Gentem Stick, and even when I lived in Niseko, Gentem was like same setup, really small.
Pretty small.
They had their one little showroom at his house.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they still made the boards there. And now it's like...
It's pretty huge.
It's massive.
Yeah.
And he came over, and when he saw your little...
Yeah, he's really good at that, eh? He does interesting things with his...
and how
socials.
he showed love to the powder hunter on the wall, and I was like...
Yeah, that was an amazing hookup over there at the airport, so... Yeah, it'd be pretty cool to get another board up there this year. We'll see how it goes.
I saw him at one of Dion's events. His son was doing it. And I said, Dane's brand powder hunter at the airport, and I sort of gave him props for posting. He's like, oh yeah, he was like stoked on it. He was frothing. He speaks English, but there was a bit of a. I said, oh, just good on you, mate. Like that was rad. Just like things like that, just posting, like him just posting a photo. Yeah, because when you're telling me about that installation at the airport, it's like, go hard, because that's just like you say, all these little things that you do, whether it's demo days,
you just never know,
a random board installation on a wall. It's just getting them in front of people, because that's half of the business is just brand recognition. People seeing it and being like, oh, rad, a New Zealand snowboard company, like what? If they didn't know it existed, then they don't. They see it in front of them, like, oh, No, I think that was pretty cool to see. What a trip, eh?
That's it. And then I don't know, for like you just touched on Dion there, and he'd started that event at Olympus, and I think they're still the Mofo, they're carrying it on, but I've supported that for the last couple of years, and it's pretty grassroots, and even what Dion's doing, with the NZFT, like it is grassroots, man. It's a cool thing to support. So
it's 10 years deep, but it is very much grassy.
It's grassroots. That's the next generation.
So because you gave boards and stuff as prizes, didn't you?
Yeah.
Cool.
First off, So, but it's a cool grassroots event, and other grassroots events, like it's good to be there, and
and that's like you say, getting brand awareness, getting stuff in front of people, it's like all these little things you do along the way help. You go from, in any business or any product or anything you do, like you say, starting and people being like, oh, what are you fucking doing, mate? So then 3 years later, people are like, this dude's got this is snowboard, New Zealand snowboard brand, they're legit, and it's fucking, like it's you see that change over the years.
It'd be nice in a few more years, and getting some profit and putting some stuff back into these events and all that kind of thing would be amazing.
It's not for the faint of heart, that industry. So fucking definitely good you're having a crack at it, bro. I can see that
you got to look outside New Zealand. Like I guess, what do we got? Like a pretty, how many snowboarders are there in New Zealand?
Compared to the world, it's very small market.
It's the world. It's not just New Zealand.
And then half of the world doesn't even see our money as like real money. It's like monopoly land down here. It's like the Americans, they bring their money down. They look at ours. It's like, I see it in the hunting industry, bro.
Oh, really?
They're like, people are like, oh, it's this New Zealand. They're like, oh, well, I don't know. Like they don't even register.
Americans are like that a lot, aren't they? With
that's crazy.
American cash, it's pretty strong everywhere.
Oh, that's rad, bro. Yeah, I'm super stoked on it. I'm looking forward to seeing one of those the new boards in the flesh. This year. How many you just doing small batch still?
Man, small batches, eh? Yeah.
What, 10 per model?
Not even that this time around, just a few of each, but it's interesting because I think what's going to happen is they'll sell out real quick, but to get more than that, I need to be able to bankroll it as well. That's the hard part. So
the struggles of a small one-man band company, snowboard company. But then, like I said, like with Gentem, this is where it begins. I don't know how deep he is in now, like how long they've been running. You saw it with that same thing. Pretty sure they used to make them themselves.
Oh yeah, definitely
handmade there. And then, like you say, it's just
people do hit me up about that all the time. It's like, man, you can do it, and you can make boards in New Zealand. They just cost thousands of dollars per board. Multiple thousands.
Well, the bro Liam.
Exactly. Liam does amazing boards. One-off boards. You're looking at like a minimum $1,500 for a basic board.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a different market.
You're going more the general consumer route.
But
over the handmade very, because he uses all like the New
He's got
Zealand woods
amazing
and
top
stuff,
sheets.
all that.
Yeah.
That's next level.
Yeah.
So it's it's a different customer base.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you say, 3 years is
It's nothing.
in its infancy, bro.
It's nothing. Yeah.
If you keep tracking the way you are, and like you say, you get more people that are
That's the
riding
thing.
the boards
You've
and
got
frothing on them.
to just you've got to take your small wins, and not look at the bank account.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, well, anybody who's got like a product based business will know exactly what you mean.
It's People think, oh, wicked, you must be doing real well. It's like, I'm just scraping by, bro.
But hey, you look at
But
pioneers.
that's it. You kind of know that, and you're like, oh, you just got to keep pushing. Yeah.
Where do you think the likes of Jake Burton started? Same thing.
Yeah.
Different boards back then. Let's be honest. They were riding those like little hill surfers or whatever they were called. But if you don't start now, or if you didn't start 3 years ago,
Yeah.
you wouldn't be here.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
And you look 5 years ahead now and be like, well, make a rough goal and keep pushing. Like you say, whether you develop product or shapes or whatever, and just
it's cool. It'd be interesting to see if I can be 10 years deep. It'd be amazing. Like what's things going to look like in 10 years time? Who knows? But definitely this season's going to be cool. And then I'm already thinking like for next season.
Yeah,
now.
thinking ahead.
Yeah.
It's the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm fucking all props to you, bro. It's a big task, and you're obviously willing to take it on. So I like to see it.
I guess it's the best thing about it, man, is I'm in the mountains. I'm still snowboarding every day. Well, not every day at all, but I'm still out there snowboarding and talking to other people who love snowboarding, and it's just like I wanted it to be part of my life.
Don't work a day in your life if you love what you do, eh?
Yeah.
It's like me when I'm up there shooting, and like if I'm shooting, because my first love with photography came from snowboarding. It was snowboarding that's got me into it. So no matter what I end up shooting now, that's always my first love. And I'm up there shooting whatever it might be, and I'm getting paid, to do it. I'm like, like anything, it can become a job, and you're like, it's another day. But you got to pinch yourself and be like, this is it was the same shit with the photography game, bro. Like that 5-year thing.
Yeah.
I literally did that. I made a 5-year plan. I said, by this point in my life, I want to make a living doing this.
Yeah.
And I fucking did it.
Yeah.
So
like last year was a grind, man. Like, because I was, I'm still working a normal job Monday to Friday. And then Friday afternoon would come around, and I'd be back home taking all the tools out of the van,
loading
all the boards in, driving, sleeping in the van on Friday night, setting up the demo tent Saturday morning, Sunday, same thing, get home. Like, sometimes I'd be getting home at 1 a.m. on Sunday night, I'd unpack everything at 1 a.m, and then I'd throw all my tools in the van and then go to bed, and then, 7:30 on the work site, on Monday morning, I've had 5 hours sleep if I'm lucky, and, into work, and then smash out that week of work, and then Friday rolls around and it's tools out, boards in again. And
but you love it.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. That was, it was a lot of work.
The snowboard brand grind, eh?
Yeah.
Guess who, the likes of Jake Burton and all, Tom Sims and all them, that's probably exactly what they did 30, whatever many years ago it was.
Maybe, Yep.
That's what you got to
hocking
do.
boards out the back of the car.
Local snowboard dealer. I got the boards, mate. You got the money.
Yeah. But it's pretty cool, man, when you sell a board on the mountain and you're like selling direct to a customer, and they're like, they've just ridden one of the demos and they're super stoked on it. And they're like, dude, I want to buy one of these. It was rad. And you're like, cool. That's freaking awesome.
That's that moment, though, that 3 a.m. idea. And now you're standing there on a mountain selling the product that you thought up. You were like, the fuck, I did this.
Yeah.
Those are the moments when you got to like be proud of yourself and be like, fucking oath. Because you took it from nothing to something.
Yeah, it is. It's nothing. It's
and
like
now here you are, someone else enjoying the product that you created out of thin air.
Yeah, if I didn't
out
think
of your brain.
if I didn't think of it, it would not exist. So yeah.
Fuck, it's a trip,
Yeah.
eh? Yeah, life's a trip. Bro,
Yeah.
but no, it's rad. How long have we been going?
Oh, too long, eh?
Long enough. Anything else you want to talk about or say?
Don't know. Come ride some boards.
Support local. Support local. Stop buying fucking garbage off all the big companies.
Yeah, yeah.
Start supporting the
Well,
local
you know,
people.
up to the consumer, eh? You know.
I'm just so patriotic as a Kiwi, and I hate when people aren't. Like all the bad mouthing about New Zealand that's been going on, lucky lately. I feel like saying to those people, I'm like, you don't know how fucking lucky you are to be born in this country.
Yeah,
'Cause it is
yeah,
epic.
yeah. There's lots going on, you know. Like there's everyone's cost of living's crazy,
All that
housing's
shit.
crazy, all that. But we do live in a beautiful country, and
I feel like being like, here's a plane ticket to
Yeah,
some
yeah,
third
yeah.
world country.
yeah, man.
Go and get some perspective,
Yeah,
and then come back and see what you come back and realize. Like, New Zealand is paradise. Like,
Yeah.
yes, things
Yeah.
are expensive, but
Yeah.
trust me, and that's half the problem. People haven't seen shit.
yeah. That's it. Eh? There's some
been in their one
crazy
little
ideas
place.
in New Zealand, and you just say, you know, here you go traveling for 6 months and come back, and yeah, the perspective on life in New Zealand would change.
When people are, I see
Yeah.
people in their 20s trying to like buy houses and shit. I'm like, go and travel the world. Go and see some shit. Because it'll make you come back to New Zealand and appreciate this shit more. It fucking frustrates me, you know. But everyone's got their own journey.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, if someone thinks going to Australia to earn a couple bucks more an hour is going to change their life, fucking go hard. But I'm telling you, it ain't. New Zealand is a great place. And I will and always be patriotic, and that's why when I see shit like what you're doing, I'm like, we should be supporting that 100%. You know,
yeah, it'd be pretty amazing to be able to be like that. Well, you just got to keep working at it.
everyone's different. Not everyone's like that. But all right, let's wrap it up. Thanks for coming in, bro. Check out Powder Hunter Snowboards. There's the man behind it. Who
Yeah,
does it all and brought it to fruition. So support him as much as you can. And
yeah,
obviously, if you need a snowboard, I can vouch for it because I rode that one last year and it's fucking epic. So, and I don't put my name to anything that isn't quality.
Oh, thanks,
obviously.
man. Yeah.
Not to try and put myself on a pedestal, but I generally don't support brands that are shit. You know, if I'm going to like try and get other people on it, I'm not going to. It has to be good. So, like I said, having rode your boards and seeing what you're doing, I'm fucking behind you 100%.
Oh, thanks, man. Yep. We'll just get a few more good crew on board, and we're away.
If you need a snowboard, check out Powder Hunter. Thanks for watching.
Cheers.
See you in the next one.
Oh, big yarn. Big yarn.
That's called the big yarn. Protein.
Yep, totally right.